Special Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in the Inland Empire, joined by Andy Melendrez. He is a councilman in the city of Riverside, running for re-election. That election's on June 6th. And in many communities, when folks have been running for re-election over the last year or so, they've had to talk about spikes in crime.
Yes.
Not in your district.
No, not in my district.
Which must be really pleasing to you and your constituents.
It has been really great. You know, our Riverside Police Department did a study on the amount of crime that we've had in Ward 2.
Sure. Which is a very economically diverse ward.
Very, very diverse, economically and culturally.
Sure.
And what we had in 2007, we had a total of about almost 2,300 different types of Part 1, Part 2 crime. Okay. Obviously, you know, the district has gotten bigger, and now we're under 2,000. Wow. Under 2,000. So there has been a drop from 2007
with more people moving in.
With more people moving in.
Why?
Well, there's been a variety of things. Obviously, we've put together a lot of neighborhood groups. You know, they're the eyes and ears that are on the street. Equipped them with the numbers that they needed, who to call. We've had in those community groups a lot of officers. We usually have a sergeant or a lieutenant.
I'm digressing a bit, and I hope it's okay. With the new administration in Washington, there are some folks, especially those that may be culturally diverse, that are all nervous about interacting with law enforcement, even if they're documented.
Right.
Have you heard that in your ward?
Well, I think, you know, there's a lot of anxiety over it. Our police chief has been very clear, and he has basically said, we're not immigration officers. We're peace officers. We're law enforcement. If an individual gets a traffic citation, he's going to be cited for that traffic citation. If he doesn't have registration, then he will be cited for not having registration, and they'll be handled like everybody else.
And I believe you, and I know Sergio Diaz, the police chief, and virtually all law enforcement officials in California have said, regardless of kind of sanctuary, whatever that may mean, that we are not in the business of enforcing immigration laws, but perception's reality. You know, and for so many folks of color, the reality for them is that you are law enforcement, and I don't want to interact with you. So I'm just, just wondering, you know, your ward's on such a roll with the crime drops. Are you concerned that the mood, the motif is causing challenges?
Obviously, that is a concern. You know, one of the things that my personal background, I grew up in an area called Casablanca, low-income community.
In Riverside.
It was the late 50s, early 60s. You know, when you grow up in a low-income community, you're surrounded many times by agricultural workers, which is where my parents started their career in agriculture, although they were born here in the 20s. But they started, so we were used to being around a lot of agricultural workers, and also stories of immigration, you know, coming in or being called. Those were common things even back then. What I believe is important is that as a city council member, you continue going out, or I continue going out in the community and engaging with the Spanish-speaking, engaging with, because we do have also a growing Asian population,
Mandarin,
and letting them, and letting them know, look, we're here I'm here as a city official to engage and help and find a way to provide services to you. And usually we do have a police sergeant or a lieutenant that does outreach as well.
What are they saying to you?
I'm sorry?
What are they saying to you, these folks, even if they're documented?
You know, right now, basically, they're just asking me, do you think this is going to change in the future? Do you think what the president is saying now is going to be a reality? And at this point, all we can really say is that at this point, we're here to provide you services and help you and improve your neighborhood. And make sure that the police department, also the services that we provide through the city of Riverside, are available to you and accessible to you.
Let's talk more about the ward. University Avenue goes right through it, connected to UC Riverside. I understand that area is going through a renaissance.
Yes, it is.
Tell us about that.
Well, the entire University Avenue is going through a renaissance. We have a wonderful project that's going to come in. It's called the Clean Air Resources Board.
CARB. We know CARB.
CARB will be coming in. They're looking to make about a $400 million investment. We partnered with UCR, the Greater Riverside Chambers of Commerce, many community leaders, and our city staff worked very hard to have CARB settle in our city. We think it'll be a great opportunity for employment growth, but also they're bringing the professional jobs that we're really looking for. Further down, we have the East Side community. Obviously, the East Side community is a very low-income community. Sure. We've transitioned, taken all the bad business out, bad hotels, bad liquor stores. We had a problem with crime, drugs, and gangs. We've taken all those out, and the crime has significantly dropped. And through that, when you take things away, you've got to build things back up.
Right.
We started our Riverside Arts Academy, which now services 390 children every 6 weeks. And they can learn violin, they can learn ballet, piano, drums, and it's $10 for 6 weeks of training.
With the passage of Measure Z, which is an increase in sales tax in Riverside,
Right.
I would presume that your ward is looking to be a beneficiary of some of that large yes. Construction, road repairs, what are you thinking?
Well, at this point, our focus is really in increasing our public safety, both our police
That could help
and
your
our
ward.
fire.
Yeah.
Yes, and what we're looking at, we're at about 350 sworn officers. We should have about 410, 415, actually higher, but we believe that 410, 415 officers would do it. And we are working towards focusing in on public safety, and also our fire department, the equipment needed for our fire department. They call it apparatus, but so we're improving and purchasing new apparatus for our fire department, improving our roads as well. And the one thing that we really need to be concerned about is cybersecurity. There's a lot of hacking going on, and we at the city know that people are trying to hack into information. So we've got to upgrade our computers. We need to upgrade our mainframe.
Well,
we need to provide
our
those
friends
safeties.
At UCR can help you with that.
Well,
it is a fine higher education institution.
We are focused in on improving technology, even in the community, through some of our smaller incubators.
Which is wonderful.
Yes.
For better or for worse,
yes.
One of the areas that continues to be driving job growth in the Inland Empire is warehouses.
Yes, it is.
And again, there are pluses and minuses to it, but talk to us about how you're trying to manage the desire of these warehouse entities to come into the Inland Empire, to come into Riverside, with the simultaneous desire of keeping our neighborhoods places we want to live.
Well, obviously, zoning is important. And if you have something that's zoned commercial where warehouses are, you're able to place them there. The idea here is to try to come up with a plan where it does not impact the neighborhood. Obviously, you're going to have truck traffic. It's a matter of routing those trucks the right way and gaining the support from your council colleagues to think about that. It's important to make sure that the neighborhoods are not impacted, ensure that the types of warehouses that are going to come in are going to bring the higher paying jobs. And, you have to talk to the developer quite a bit about those types of things to make sure they clearly understand.
Again, I know they can be controversial, but they can create a lot of jobs.
We're seeing damage to our streets. We're seeing
damage.
Yes.
Fair.
Yes.
So, is that part of what your job is as a council member?
Part of our job is really to try to manage it. It becomes extremely difficult. Obviously, especially the larger warehouses seem to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
I hear you.
Which, my preference is really looking at more of the professional jobs than really bringing in more warehouses. I mean, that's a preference of mine.
His name is Andy Melendrez. He is a member of the Riverside City Council. My name is Brad Pomerance, coming to you from the Inland Empire today. I'm so glad you're with us on Local Edition.
Great.